Hello everyone and welcome back to this Excel series. My name's James and today we're going to be looking at the count, CountIf and SumIf formulas in Excel. So in front of you I've got a table. The theme is a hair salon actually. So from B2 down to D11 is our table. We have the name of the hairdresser in column B, style of haircut in column C, and the revenue in column D. So the total, if we're interested in the total sales figure, the total revenue for the day, like we covered in the previous session, we can just press Alt and plus, which will give us the equal sum D3 to D11 and press return. So $150 for the day. Pretty good taking. If we're interested in the number of sales, again, we could count each individual line. So I'd know there's 9 lines, so I've had 9 sales. But Excel has formula for this, and specifically the count formula. So as usual, we start any Excel formula with the equal sign, and then type in count. When I've typed in count, it's come up with a description. Counts the number of cells in a range that contain numbers. Very important, so we need to refer to a range that contains numbers. We can't refer to text as in column B or column C, so we're going to have to refer to column D. So if we do count, open bracket, and we're going to select our range, which is going to be from D3 to D11. Close bracket and return. So we've generated $150 through 9 sales. So now we're going to look at the CountIf and SumIf formulas. So in the table on the right, from F3 over to H7, we have a little table of the individual hairdressers, the number of haircuts that they've sold during the day, and the revenue that they've generated. So we have the name of each individual hairdresser running in F4, F5, and F6. So if we wanted to work out the number of haircuts or the amount of times that this Elise or Scarlett or Ben appear in this column, then this is perfect for the CountIf formula. So to start any formula, always equals CountIf. The description counts the number of cells within a range that meet the given condition, and our condition is going to be the name on the left hand side of it. So open bracket, so it's going to ask us for the range. So the range is going to be B3 to B11 because that's where the names of the hairdressers are. And remember, we're going to make this reference absolute by pressing the F4 key. That way when we drag this formula down, the table that we're referring to won't drag down with it. It's going to stay where it is. As you can see, so we've entered the range, and now we need a comma, and now we need the criteria. So in our case, the criteria is going to be the name of the hairdresser, which is in cell F4. Close bracket and return. So I can see Elise has sold 4 haircuts during the day, and if I drag this down, there we go. So Elise sold 4, Scarlett sold 3, and Ben sold 2 haircuts. My total formula down the bottom, it's actually a count formula. So it's just counting the number of individuals. This is not what we are after. We are after the equals sum formula, open bracket, select the range and return. So we've had 9 sales, and that's the breakdown of who's sold them. Now we can also look at the revenue generated by each hairdresser. To do this, we're not going to be using the count formula because I actually want to add the revenue up that they've generated for each of their sales. So we're going to be using the SumIf formula. So I'm going to click in cell H4 and write equals SumIf, and as you can see from the description, adds the cells specified by a given condition or criteria. Again, our condition or criteria is going to be the name of the hairdresser, and we're going to be adding up the revenue. So open bracket. Now it's asking us for the range, then we're going to need the criteria, and then we're going to need the sum range. And so we know the sum range is going to be the revenue. Therefore the range is going to be where we're searching for the individual's name, the criteria. So the range is going to be B3 to B11. And we're going to press F4 to make that absolute, so it won't move when we drag the formula down, comma. So now it wants the criteria. Again, the criteria is the individual's name in F4, comma. And now it's asking us for the sum range. So the sum range is the revenue from D4 or D3 down to D11. And again, we want to make this absolute so that when we drag the formula down, it's still just going to refer to that same area. So we're just going to press the F4 key. Close bracket and return. So Elise has generated $67 of revenue. If I drag this down, Scarlett's generated 54 and Ben has generated 29, which gets us to our 150 total, 9 haircuts, which ties in with our formulas down the bottom right. And we may also be interested in what sort of haircuts that we've actually sold, because we know how many individual sales the hairdressers have had and the revenue they brought in, but we might be interested in what kind of haircuts we're actually selling and the revenue we're generating for those. So again, we can set up the formulas just again. So we're just going to be using, so we're looking for the number of haircuts, so we're going for that CountIf formula again, open bracket. Our range now is going to be from C3 to C11, and we want to make that absolute because we don't want that to move when we drag the formula. And our criteria is going to be F10, and we want that to be relative so that we can drag it down with the formula. Close bracket and return. So as we can see from our hair salon, I had 5 crew cuts, 2 trims, and 2 colors. Again, we've got the wrong formula down here. I'm going to change this over to an equal sum, open bracket, G10 to G12, close bracket, 9 different kinds, 9 sales during the day. And the revenue, so it's going to be our equals sum if, because we want to sum the revenue again. So the range, so here we're searching on the kind of haircut, so C3 to C11. Make that absolute with the F4 key, comma, the criteria, which is in F10. And we want F10 to be relative so that we can drag the formula down, comma, and now the sum range. So again, we want the revenue figures in D3 to D11, and we want those to be absolute. F4, close bracket, return. And then we're just going to drag that formula down. So we can see we're making most of our money through crew cuts, $77 out of the 150, but they do represent more than 50% of the sales that we've had. Trims, $26, and colors, $47. If we had some other columns over here with the margins and whatnot, it looks like the color is the most profitable for us because we've done 2 and we've generated 1/3 of our revenue and not 1/3 of the sales. But that's the CountIf and SumIf formulas. If you have any questions or comments or feedback, please leave a comment below. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you in the next session. Thank you.